Breaker of this world's chain, we adore thee, whom all men love, spotless, taking man's form. O purifier, thou art above the gunas three, knowledge divine, not flesh, thou whom the cosmos wears, a diamond at its heart. Let us look deep in thine eyes, they are bright with the wisdom of God, that can wake us from Maya's spell. Let us hold fast to thy feet, treading the waves of the world to safety. O drunk with love, God drunken lover, in thee all paths of all yogas meet. Lord of the worlds, thou art ours, who wert born a child of our time, easy of access to us. O merciful, if we take any hold upon God in our prayer, it is by thy grace alone, since all thine austerities were practiced for our sake. How great was thy sacrifice, freely choosing thy birth in this prison, our iron age, to unchain us and set us free. Perfect, whom lust could not taint, nor passion nor gold draw near. O Master of all who renounce, fill our hearts full of love for thee. Thou hast finished with fear and with doubt, standing firm in the vision of God, refuge to all who have cast fame, fortune, and friends away. Without question thou shelterest us, and the world's great sea in its wrath seems shrunk to the puddle that fills the hoofprint in the clay. Speech cannot hold thee, nor mind, yet without thee we think not, nor speak. Love, who art partial to none, we are equal before thy sight. Taker away of our pain, we salute thee, though we are blind. Come to the heart's black cave, Sham Bahukritam Napaje Yatam Tasmat Tvameva Sharanam Mamadina Bandha Bhaktir Parascha Bhajanam Bhavabe
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। योगानंद प्रेमानंदश्चान्यवै ये च पार्षदः रामकृष्णगतप्राण सर्वांस्तान् प्रणमाम्यहम्। Today is a very auspicious day for the devotees of Ramakrishna. Today is the birth tithi of Swami Yogananda Ji Maharaj. He was born in 1861, 30th March. His name was Jogindranath Rai Chaudhuri. He was born in a Brahmin family. His father was Nobin Chandra Rai Chaudhuri. He was a Jamindar, a landlord, a very pious man. Pious Brahmin, mother also was very pious, but the father was not that interested in looking after his estates. So gradually, many things he lost, but he thought that when Jogindra will be grown up, adult, he will take the responsibility of the family and they will have good days. And this Yogananda was born in the village of Dakshineshwar, very near to our master's place, this Rani Rashmani's Kali temple and the garden. So, as a young boy, he used to come for bathing in the Ganges. And sometimes there were many flower gardens, just to pluck some flowers. So his mind was, from the very beginning, a little devoted towards God, so he loved flowers. So one day, as a young boy, he found somebody, he thought it would have been the gardener of the temple garden. So he said, man, can you give me that flower? So he thought that it was a gardener, a middle-aged person. He didn't know who he was. And that man also very lovingly plucked those flowers and gave it to him, and he left. And he did not know who Sri Ramakrishna was, and about Sri Ramakrishna he did not have much respect also at that time, because some people of their neighborhood used to tell Sri Ramakrishna is mad, and really a mad Brahmin. So he was not very much interested that Sri Ramakrishna could have been some saintly man. But at the age of 16, 17, he read in Sulabh Samachar, Keshav Chandra Sen, the famous Brahmo leader. He wrote something about Sri Ramakrishna, his divine life, and his devotion for God, his yearning, Bakulata, all these things that attracted the mind of this young boy of 16, 17. So one day, with that paper itself, the description of Sri Ramakrishna was there in that paper. So he came to Dakshineshwar to meet, where is Sri Ramakrishna? Let me see that man. So he asked, and somebody said, that is Sri Ramakrishna's room, go. And he was going, and he found that the whole room was full of other devotees, mostly Brahmo devotees. They came because Keshav Sen himself, being Brahmo leader, was a very near disciple-like person of Sri Ramakrishna. And every now and then he used to come with his followers and fruits, spend time in Sri Ramakrishna's room in Dakshineshwar. So young Yogananda entered, did not enter. So many people, he stood outside the door. Then Master was talking about spiritual matters, and Master said, some babus, some gentlemen are standing outside, ask them to come in, not to hesitate, don't be shy. Yoganandaji was very shy. So he did not enter, but now some devotee came outside the door, of the room and then invited him, "Hey, come, master is calling, why you are standing outside? Come inside." So he entered. Oh God, he found this was that man whom a couple of years back he mistook as the gardener of this Kali temple and asked for the, "Hey, Mali, gardener, give me that flower." So now he felt very shy and was thinking, "Oh God, what I did with this man, this is Sri Ramakrishna himself and I treated him like the gardener." So he was feeling very embarrassed seeing Sri Ramakrishna in the room and now first time knowing. So many devotees were there, then devotees left. Sri Ramakrishna asked him, when the crowd dispersed, we read a little bit some incidents from the life of Swami Yoganandaji Maharaj. God lived with them, the life stories of monastic disciples of Sri Ramakrishna by Swami Chetananandaji. So he now came forward when the crowd dispersed. Master walked over to Jogin and asked about his background. And the boy said, "My name is Jogin." "What is your father's name?" asked Sri Ramakrishna. "Nobin Chandra Rai Chaudhuri." "My goodness," Master replied. "I know your father very well. I used to go to your house quite often and listen to readings from the Bhagavata and other scriptures. Your family members were very respectful towards me." So in this way, they both got introduced to each other and the young man became very respectful and devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. Thus Sri Ramakrishna talked to Jogin for some time. When Jogin was about to leave, the master said, "Come again." See, we find that the recorder of the gospel also M, when he was trying to commit suicide and first came at the request of his friend Sidhu. First day came and after meeting Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oh, Acha, all right, come again." So this "come again" is with Jogin also. And M, recorder of the gospel, was always thinking of Sri Ramakrishna, who was trying to commit suicide, forgot all suffering of the life and world, and was thinking the wonderful man, so sweet words, so beautiful place. And he also told me, "Come again, so at the earliest I will go." So this young Jogin also was asked by master, "Come again." Jogin agreed. While he was returning home, the boy thought, "This man must be a saint who has seen God. People do not understand that and therefore they laugh at him. How else can one account for such words of devotion, such divine love, and such ecstasy in the name of God? However, let me watch him closely." Aim also felt like that. Oh God, this man was talking about God. He forgot his suffering and wanted to spend more time with Sri Ramakrishna. And on the first sight, this love in first sight, like that, he felt that Sri Ramakrishna was not an ordinary person, recorder of the gospel. Young Jogin also was thinking, people say this man is a mad Brahmin, mad priest. What they say? He's a saintly man, such devotion. So he was feeling that pull to come again to Sri Ramakrishna. The next day, Jogin went straight to Sri Ramakrishna, who was glad to see him. The master recognized him as one of his inner circle and said to him, "It is wonderful that we have come to know each other now. You must come often. You have been born into a noble family and possess many characteristics of spiritual greatness. You will easily advance on this path." Unquote. Jogindranath Rai Chaudhuri was born, as I told, in an aristocratic family, in a Jamindar family, landlord's family. And Jogin developed a religious tendency very early in his life. When he was a child of 5, he would often be overwhelmed with spiritual feelings. In the midst of play, a serious thought would suddenly possess him, and he would lose all interest in the sport. He would withdraw into a quiet corner and, looking at the sky, ask himself, and I quote, "Where am I? Certainly I don't belong here. These are not my playmates. I have other friends and companions. I must have come. I must have come from one of those stars. But which one? I don't know. And why am I here if I belong to another world? Is this all a dream?" So, as a boy of 5 years, he used to have this kind of spiritual, divine imagination about himself. What is this life? Where from I have come? Why I am here? So, thoughts like these would trouble him, and he would be seized with a longing for familiar regions as he grew up. However, these boyish imaginations gradually left him. After his sacred thread ceremony, Jogin began to spend more time in meditation and worship. He would get joy from reading the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and other scriptures. He was fond of listening to kirtan or devotional singing and to the recitation of the Bhagavata. Sometimes he would help his father pick flowers for worship. It is quite possible that he saw Sri Ramakrishna many times while he was a little boy. Jogin was sent to a Christian missionary school in Agarpara, a few miles from Dakshineshwar. During his final year of school, he met Sri Ramakrishna and began to visit him daily. The attainment of this contact with Sri Ramakrishna brought about a great change in his thinking. The attainment of God became the sole purpose of his life. Although he knew that his academic studies would ultimately be of financial value to his family, he could not focus his mind on worldly pursuits. He had learned from the Master that one can realize God only through renunciation of lust and gold. He resolved not to marry. At that time, a Hatayogi named Narayana was living in a hut near the Panchavati in Dakshineshwar. He was attracting some people's curiosity by showing them the art of neti, dhoti, some kind of swallowing a piece of cloth and then pulling it out. Dhoti means drinking about a gallon of water and throwing it up. This is how Hatajogis cleanse their systems to prevent disease and keep their bodies fit. After observing the yogi, Jogin felt that lust would not vanish and God could not be realized without practicing these Hatha Yoga techniques. One day Jogin found the Master alone and asked him, "Sir, could you teach me how to conquer lust?" Master said, "Chant the name of Hari, Lord, God, then it will go," answered the Master. This simple remedy did not convince Jogin. He thought that the Master did not know any practical method and had prescribed something useless. Moreover, he thought, so many people are repeating the name of Hari every day. Why does lust not vanish in them? The next day, Jogin went straight to the Hatha Yogi, and while he sat listening to the yogi, Sri Ramakrishna arrived. The Master took Jogin's hand and asked Jogin to follow him. While they were walking towards his room, the Master said, "Why did you go there? Don't do it. Your mind will only stick to the body if you learn those techniques of Hatha Yoga. It will not thirst after God." Jogin again doubted Sri Ramakrishna. He thought that the Master had discouraged him from visiting the Hatha Yogi to keep him from running away. However, he thought again, why don't I do what he told me to do and see what happens? Later Jogin said, and I quote, "Thinking thus, I took the name of Hari with a concentrated mind, and as a matter of fact, shortly afterwards I began to experience the tangible result mentioned by the Master. So, outwardly, it seems to us, Harinam, so many people are taking God's name. Are they free from greed, anger, lust, all the bad things? But if somebody sincerely, with concentrated mind, focused on God and God alone, really pray, then sincere prayers are answered. So he himself is now feeling that yes, what Master said, yes, it happens. After his entrance examination, Jogin began to live with Sri Ramakrishna for longer periods of time and to spend more time in meditation. He was, however, aware of his family's hardship. One day he said to his father, "It is useless for me to go to school anymore. I shall try to get a job in an office. With your permission, I will go to my uncle at Kanpur and try to get a job there." His father consented. Jogin left for Kanpur, probably in 1884. He tried for several months to get a job but did not succeed, so he spent most of his time in prayer and meditation in Kanpur, in his uncle's house. His absent-mindedness alarmed his uncle, who wrote to his father, Jogin's father, Naveen, urging him to arrange for his son's marriage. This is a common way of binding a seeker of God to this mundane world. Naveen thought, Naveen means father of Jogin, thought that this would be a wise thing to do, and knowing his son's apathy towards the world, made arrangements for the marriage without telling Jogin, let the boy run away. Naveen wrote his brother-in-law to send Jogin home on the pretext of his mother's illness. With an anxious heart, Jogin rushed from Kanpur to Dakshineshwar. Kanpur is in Uttar Pradesh. But to his great dismay, he found everybody jubilant over his forthcoming marriage. He was terribly upset, and he plainly told his father that he would not marry. Naveen tried to persuade him, his father, but the boy remained adamant. Naveen was in an awkward position, for he had given his word to the bride's father. It would be utterly disgraceful to withdraw now. At last, Jogin's mother came to him with tearful eyes and implored her son to marry and save his father's reputation. Even if you are unwilling, marry for my sake, dear, she said. Jogin was soft-hearted and gentle by nature. His mother's passionate appeal undermined his firm resolution. Jogin bowed his head before the decree of fate and married a beautiful daughter of Madhusudan Rai, who lived close to Dakshineshwar, the same village. So people usually get married to find happiness, but Jogin's marriage turned out to be full of misery. With all his gentleness, Jogin had another side to his nature, his strong independence. Forced to marry, he rebelled like a caged lion that desperately wants to be free. When Jogin was taken to the bridal chamber immediately after the ceremony, he began to chant God's name, even though the bride's female companions laughed at him. Jogin and his wife never slept in the same bed. Soon after the wedding, he went to visit his wife's home. After supper, he went to the roof and walked there the whole night instead of going to bed. The next morning, he returned home before anyone got up. Later, Swami Vivekananda remarked, and I quote, "If there is anyone amongst us who has conquered lust in all respects, it is Jogin." Unquote. Sri Ramakrishna mentioned that 6 of his disciples, including Jogin, were Ishwarakotis. Ishwarakotis means a godlike soul who is eternally free from the bondage of karma and who allows himself to be born simply to do good to the humanity. The Master also declared that Jogin had been Arjuna, the hero of the Mahabharata in his previous life. So Master said about many of his disciples that I have seen you in Sri Chaitanya Dev Avatara, in his group. I have seen you with Jesus. So like that. Master mentioned. In the Gita we find when Arjuna was thinking Sri Krishna was a very good friend, but a very good advisor. He can give me some counseling, good counsel. So he was asking what to do in the battlefield. And Sri Krishna was telling him, my dear, many times you were born, many times I was born. And how could you know? You do not know, I know. So Sri Ramakrishna also is telling, you have been born as Arjuna. So I know about you, you do not know. To Arjuna also, Sri Krishna said, Arjuna, you do not know your previous lives, but I know. Jogin later described his mental condition. As soon as I married, the thought came to me that the hope of God realization was now a mockery. So he became frustrated that we have been meeting Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna always spoke about the renunciation, living a life for God realization, and through that setting an example before others so that others also will be feeling the pull for God. Everyone will not be this worldly minded. Now I gave word to Master that I will live a life of renunciate, and now I have made it. So he became frustrated and stopped going to Sri Ramakrishna, and he was burning in his mind what to do, what Master will think of. Then now Master found that he would not come. Master came to know that he has married, that is why he was not coming. So Master understood that he would not come, so he informed through somebody. The other day, before his marriage, I gave him some money to purchase something. Now he is not coming and not giving the account of the money. What happened? What is this? So when he heard this, the Sri Ramakrishna asked him to go back and give the account of the money. Then he thought, oh God, I could not give word of Master, I married, but Master thinks that I have stolen money, misappropriated the funds given to me. Master is thinking that I have degenerated to that level. I will take Master's money. Immediately he came with some exchange money which was not spent, excess money. He came, a few pence like that, and just wanted that I will not see Sri Ramakrishna, I will just keep it in Sri Ramakrishna's room, or I will give it to somebody, I will not show my face to Sri Ramakrishna. That was his resolve. He was feeling so embarrassed that Master is thinking me so low. So he came, but Master was keeping an watch, and the moment Master found that he saw from a distance that the Master was standing outside his room as in ecstasy. And as soon as Master saw Jogin, he came forward quickly and saying, what if you have married? What if you are married? Have not I too been married? What is there to be afraid of in that? If you have the grace of this place showing his own body, meaning himself, if you have the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, even 100,000 marriages will be powerless to affect you. If you want to live a family life and realize God at the same time, bring your wife here once. I will make both of you fit for that. And if you want to renounce worldly life and attain God, I will make that also possible for you. Jogin was stupefied. What was this that he had heard? Was it possible? He felt himself suddenly transported from a region of utter despair to one bright with hope. Was this why the Master had accused him just to make him come to see him? A dead weight was lifted from his heart, and he breathed freely again. Jogin bowed down to the Master with tearful eyes. Then the Master, taking Jogin's hand, escorted him to his room. When Jogin referred to the payment of the balance of the money, the Master would not even listen. So in this way, Master brought again hope in his life, and Jogin understood that if he has firm faith in Master, in God, then married life will not be a problem in his God realization in this life itself. So he again started coming to Sri Ramakrishna and spend more time with Master. Jogin felt a little guilty because of his behavior towards his wife and he wanted to do something for her. One day he said to Master, "Sir, you taught me how to overcome lust. Could you do something for my young wife also? What will she do the rest of her life?" Sri Ramakrishna replied with assurance, "Don't worry about your wife. Bring her here once, either on Tuesday or Saturday. These days are considered to be auspicious for worship of the Divine Mother. And the Divine Mother will grant what is right for her. Bring her." Accordingly, Jogin took his wife to the master, who accompanied them to the Kali temple. Jogin and his wife bowed down before the Divine Mother. The master blessed Jogin's wife, touching her head. He then said to Jogin, "You will not have to worry about her anymore." Jogin realized that the master had taken on the responsibility of his wife and relieved him of it forever. So, Jogin's life with the masters, in the company of masters, was going on, having different kind of instructions about spiritual life, doing japa meditation, and he also tested Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is telling us one night he was living in Sri Ramakrishna, sleeping in Sri Ramakrishna's room, and at midnight he found Sri Ramakrishna is not in his room. Then he thought, Sri Ramakrishna is not here, what happened? At midnight, he tells all the words of renunciation for youngsters, and he himself is visiting his wife at night. So he came out of his room thinking about Sri Ramakrishna, this lowly, and thought, today I will tell that I will expose him, that what you teach, you don't practice yourself. So he was thinking outside, standing and keeping his eyes on the gate of Nahabat, door of Nahabat, where Holy Mother Sharada Devi used to sleep. And he then found, and he was perspiring, because he is trying to find his guru, with all these things, bad things he was thinking. Then Sri Ramakrishna from the darkness, he was coming and taking God's name and telling, "Oh, Jogin, what are you doing here, standing here?" Then he said, "Oh, all right, Jogin, you must taste a sadhu daytime and also at night time. Then you will understand who is a real sadhu, real saint." "Well, you are quite right. You must examine a sadhu, holy man, by day and by night before believing in him." Though forgiven, Jogin could not sleep anymore that night. So, in this way, Jogin also had some doubt about Sri Ramakrishna, what he preaches. Gradually, he understood that it was a great education to live with Sri Ramakrishna. His every action or word carried deep meaning. According to the arrangement of the temple management, every day Sri Ramakrishna was to receive a portion of prasad, food offered to the deities. One morning he found that his share had not been sent to his room. This irregularity disturbed him, so he went to the temple office to inquire about it. The embarrassed temple manager immediately sent the master's portion to his room. Jogin was surprised at this, for he knew that the master did not care much about eating, as he had a very delicate stomach. Moreover, he had never seen the master so upset as he was on that day. After a good deal of reflection, Jogin came to conclusion that the master, in spite of his great spirituality, could not overcome the petty tendencies of his priestly class. Meanwhile, Sri Ramakrishna returned to his room and said to Jogin, and I quote, "Look here, Rani Rashmani has bequeathed her large estate to the service of this temple, so that the offerings may be distributed among devotees and sadhus. That part of the offerings which comes to this room is taken only by devotees who come here with yearning for God. So the gift of Rani Rashmani is turned to good account, merit, punya. But what use is made of the other portion that goes to the priest of this temple? They sell it in the market, and some even feed their mistresses with it. I fight with the temple officials for the share that comes here, so that Rashmani's objective may at least be partially fulfilled, and she gets some punya by by having the scope of sadhu seva and master seva." Thus, Jogin discovered that every act of the master no matter how trivial it might appear, had deep significance. So, small incidents in Sri Ramakrishna's life, and he was living with Master and doing japa meditation and under the instruction of Sri Ramakrishna. And after passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, Jogin spent much time in the service of Holy Mother Sharada Devi. Jogin left for a pilgrimage with Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi and her party a few weeks after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna. First they stopped at Devghar, and then after visiting Varanasi and Ajodhya, they reached Vrindavan, where Sri Krishna had spent his childhood. It was in Vrindavan that Holy Mother had the first direct intimation of her future mission. One day Sri Ramakrishna appeared before her and asked her to give Jogin formal initiation. Jogin, Joganandaji and Sharada, Trigunatitananda, they got initiation from Master, but again Master said to them, take initiation from Holy Mother also. Go and meet her. They said, Mother is so shy, Mother is, never comes publicly, we do not talk to Mother, how can we know? You go. Holy Mother also got the same instruction. They also got the same instruction, this divine revelation. Sri Ramakrishna was not in body. So, Yogananda, he asked to give him formal initiation. He even told her the mantra with which she should initiate him. Holy Mother thought it was an hallucination of her own mind, but the vision was repeated the next 2 days. On the third day, she said to the Master, I do not even speak to Jogin. How can I initiate him? The Master asked her to have Joginma, a woman disciple of the Master, with her at the time of initiation. Jogin also, in a vision, Jogananda. Joginma is a lady devotee, or Jogin means Swami Jogananda. Jogananda means Jogin also, in a vision, received similar instructions from the Master. Shortly the mother initiated him, and Jogin thus became her first initiated disciple. So, now she completely dedicated himself for the service of Holy Mother. So, after spending about a year in Vrindavan, Jogin went by train to Hardwar along with Holy Mother and her party. So, he was moving there and showed many places in the Himalayas, Hardwar. So, these places, then from there they went to Jaipur, from there Jaipur they went to Prayag. So, he served long time with Holy Mother, and in November 1888, Yogananda went to Puri with Holy Mother and stayed there 3 months, and in this way he spent much time in serving Holy Mother. But he was suffering from very difficult disease, incurable in those days, and during his last illness, Yogananda suffered from fever and blood dysentery. His whole body was emaciated and his voice was feeble. One day he said about the advent of the Master, there have always been various religious paths, countless scriptures and holy places in every country. In spite of that, why is there a decline in religion? Because in the course of time all ideals become lost. Therefore God incarnates himself to explain the hidden mystery of religion and to show the ideal. On another occasion he said, by the grace of the Master I have attained so much knowledge and devotion that I am unable to express it all. When Yogananda's parents came to see him, he said, I pray, may you attain devotion. So, last situation came. Swami Yogananda passed away in Samadhi at 10:03 p.m. on 28th March 1898 at the age of 38. He was born in 1861 and passed away in 1899, just at the age of 38. Before his passing away, he said to Holy Mother, Mother, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva and Sri Ramakrishna have come to take me. In the morning, while performing worship, Holy Mother saw that the Master had come to take Yogananda. When Yogananda breathed his last, Brahmachari Krishnalal cried out. Holy Mother was upstairs and she realized what had happened. She also burst into tears and said, "My yogin has left me. Who will now look after me?" Because Yogananda was the first disciple of the Master to die, Mother remarked with a deep sigh, "A brick has slipped from the structure. Now the whole thing will come down." Before the body of Yogananda was taken to Kashimitra's cremation ground in North Calcutta, Swamiji waved the light and offered flowers and sweets as a part of the ritual. Swamiji was so stunned that he did not go to the cremation ground. Brahmananda and other disciples and devotees went in a procession and cremated their beloved brother disciple's body on the bank of the Ganges. Grief-stricken, Swamiji did not go to Sri Ramakrishna's shrine for 3 days. He remarked, "A beam is down and now the rafters will fall one after another." Just before Yogananda's death, Shivananda had asked him, "Yogi, do you remember the Master?" Yogananda replied, "Yes. Yes, I remember the Master more, even more, much more." Unquote. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.